guys, this is Sunny and welcome back to another episode of Thrift, Flip, and DIYs. So for today's video, simple lang naman siya. Ita-transform or i-uplift natin yung mga pambahay natin. Ganun ka-simple. So para lang hindi masayang yung mga old clothes na meron tayo, para hindi masayang yung mga duster na meron kayo, let us transform it into something else. As we all know that the Philippines is still in lockdown because of this pandemic and hindi natin alam kung kailan to matatapos, but I'm still hoping and praying na sana matapos na and sana magkaroon na ng vaccine or just like a bubble that pops in the air, mawala na lang yung sakit ng bigla-biglaan. But alam naman natin na hindi yun ganun kadali, kaya sana gumalaw-galaw na yung mga dapat gumalaw and then sana kagaya ng ibang bansa, ma-flatten na talaga natin yung curve. I hope and wish and pray, sana lang matapos ang pandemic na ito. Sana lang. Anyway, let's go back to the topic, which is yung thrift flip. I-thrift flip natin yung mga damit na meron tayo na sa tingin natin is maluwag lang, malaki, or yung mga pajamas na nasira na yung garters, or meron lang na konting mga butas na sa tingin nyo pwede pa namang ma-repair. So para magkaroon na kayo ng idea, let's now go to the video.
1, 2, 3, come on!
So this is the top that we will be transforming. Actually, this is already fine, but I wanted to be a little bit extra. That's why I will transform it into a square type neckline with a garter. First is to unstitch the pockets. Then, starting from the bottom of the skirt, measure the length that you wanted and then cut. Then, separate the front and back bodies. Fold the fabric lengthwise and then mark your breast and then your waist circumference with allowance. Put marks for your shoulder length. And then from that area, measure around 3 inches and then mark. And then mark the connection, put a curve, and then cut the excess fabrics. With your front bodies, just measure the breast, the waist, and then mark, curve, and then cut the excess fabric. Copy the structure to the other front piece. And then cut out the sleeves and then create a rectangular piece around 4 inches in width out of the scrap fabric. Connect the front and back bodies by stitching it together. Make sure to do this on both sides. Next is to get your rectangular piece, fold it lengthwise, and then sew it on the folded area. Next is to sew all the raw edges. Take note the top and the bottom hem should be sewn. Next is to attach the rectangular piece to the front and back bodies. This will serve as the connection of the bodies to the sleeves. Next is for the sleeves. Lay your garment on a flat surface and then measure the amount of sleeves that you needed. I need to add a little bit of a rectangular piece for my sleeves so that it will fit my armhole. Sew all the fabrics together so that you will create a circular sleeves and then attach it to the garment. Do this process on the left and right sleeves. Next is I sew the opening on my front garment. Next is I attach an elastic on both the back and front bodies of my garment. And for the final step is to sew all the remaining raw edges. So this is the top, guys, and thoughts about this is kung gumamit siguro ako ng mas maayos na fabric, as you can see, and kung mas maganda yung pattern, print ng pattern sa damit na to, I think pwede ko siyang gamitin panlabas. So, kung gagawa kayo ng kagaya nito, siguro mas maganda kung gumamit kayo ng mas magandang type ng fabric or mas magandang prints, mga ganyan, para magamit nyo siya sa labas. Kasi I think, kung isi-cinch nyo siya dito, kung mas i-fit nyo siya sa bewang nyo, and then, or what, kung anong gusto nyo, kung mas i-fit nyo siya sa bewang nyo, I think, cute siya. Like that. And then, kung itatak nyo siya, I think, mas best siya. Kung itatakin nyo siya sa pants nyo, I think, maganda yung palalabas nyo. Or pwede rin na mas i-crop nyo siya para mas hanging siya on that part or just to open up another button on that area, and then para may peeking through ng tummy belly nyo, I think, ganyan. The square neckline gives you the character or something para sa akin. Cute. Pwede siya, ayan. Pambahay lang. Second thrift flip is this pambahay dress outfit. I wanted it to transform into a two-piece set. First is to cut the fabric on the length you wanted. Set aside the top part, proceeds to shorts. Mark the length of the shorts and then cut away the excess fabrics. And then cut it in the folded area. Mark 11 inches from the top, 3 inches from the right side, and then create a curve for your crotch area and then cut. Sew the garment on the smaller piece area. Flip the other piece over and then insert to the other garment, and then pin the crotch area in place and then sew it together like the one I did. Create an elastic that is just right for your waistline and then connect the end parts. Next is to insert the elastic on the garment and then sew the waistband area. Just be careful that you shouldn't sew the elastic on the garment in this process. Next is to sew the elastic with the garment on the upper and then the lower side of the waistband. Create a long rectangular piece and then sew it on the opening. This will serve as a tie for your waistband. Next is to flip the long rectangular piece to hide the stitches that we made. After flipping it over, insert it in the waistband area. Again, this will serve as a tie and then another security for the shorts. And then lastly, for the top area, just sew the raw edges and you're done with your two-piece set. So I came out with a set, a medyo crop top, and then a shorts. And I think yung crop top na to can be worn outside. Pwede ko siyang ipanlabas, ganyan, ipanggala. I just need to wear a neutral color shorts or a pants para hindi naman siya mukhang pambahay na pambahay when I came out with this set. I think yung ganitong set is medyo trendy siya kasi marami nagbebenta nito sa Facebook, sa Lazada, sa Shopee, or saan. Kung saan, mga loungewear, when you search about loungewear, then you can come up with set. Usually, plain siya. Ano sasabihin ko, pero nakitin kasi ko. Oh, ang ganda-ganda. Ang ganda niya shit. And then finally, for our last thrift flip is this pajama. First is to measure the length of the shorts and then cut the excess fabric. Get the lower area and then cut it on one side to make a large rectangle. As you can see here, there are lots of holes in the fabric, so I'll just trim it away and work in whatever is possible. And for the front bodies, mark the length, the bust circumference, mark it, and then put a little arc on the left area and then cut the excess fabric. And set it aside. Now for the back bodies, as I said, work on whatever piece that you have, so I just connect it and then trim the excess fabric away. I just fold it lengthwise and then I copy the structure of my front bodies to my back bodies. And then I create strips about the width of a ruler. And since my strips are too short, I just connect about 3 of them and then fold it lengthwise, sew the opening, and then fold the fabric over. This will serve as the strap for your upper garment. Next is to sew the front and back bodies together. As you can see here, I put a little bit of a slit on the end part of my top garment so that it won't be too tight for my body. Afterwards is to sew the raw edges on the armhole area. Next is to sew all the raw edges in the top and bottom hem. but make sure that you put an allowance in the top area so that we can insert the strap that we made earlier. And finally, we can put the strings on the top area to serve as the straps. And now for the shorts, since the garter is too loose for me, I just trim it off away. I just cut out a rectangular piece, fold it lengthwise, and then sew it on the folded part. And then I attached it to the waist area. This will serve as the waistband of the shorts. And then I just attached a garter on the waistband area, but make sure that you distributed the garter equally before you sew it. On sewing the garter, I first sew it on the upper area and then next on the lower area. This will secure the garter even more. And then lastly, finally, at last, sew the hem area of the shorts and then we're done. So, ito yung set na nagawa ko dun sa pajama. And sobrang natutuwa ko guys kasi heads up lang, yung pajama na yun talaga is dapat itatago na kasi sobrang dami niya ng sira dito sa may legs na part. And then, sobrang liwag niya na rin sa waist area. So, dapat itatapon na siya. And then, I came up with a piles of clothes and then nakita ko siya doon. And then, I think I can save that pajama from that trash. So, instead na itapon yung pajama is I recycled it into this 2 pairs. Ayan, ganyan. So, ayan, natutuwa talaga ako kasi hindi siya nasayang. Peace out to all. So that's it guys, sobrang simple lang ng mga ginawa natin for today. I know medyo maikli tong video na to, but I just want to reach out to you na sana hindi natin sayangin yung mga fabric na meron tayo sa bahay natin. Kasi instead na itapon natin sila and form into waste, let us transform it into a new clothes, into a new appearance, and let us give life to our old clothes. Kasi fact check lang tayo guys, I research about the ways that the fashion industry is contributing, and when we say fashion industry, it is all about what we wear. Hindi lang ito yung mga panggala, mga gowns, or whatever. Ito ay yung mga lahat ng damit, lahat ng may fabric na ginagamit natin. Even the handkerchief or yung pangbahay mo is part of the fashion industry. Because according to researches, the fashion industry contributes about 20% of global wastewater and then 10% of carbon emissions. Guys, wala ako nakita about the Philippines sa fashion industry waste natin. But then I found this that every US citizen contributes about 70 pounds annually. Guys, ganun kadami or ganun ka-massive yung nakakontribute nating waste. Napupunta lang as trash and then it contributes and pollutes the environment, guys. So it is a great idea to start transforming your old clothes into something that you can wear or to repair something para masuot nyo pa ulit. And that's it, guys. If you have any suggestions, just comment it down below para sa future videos ko. Kagaya ng pag-recreate sa favorite artist or YouTuber nyo, kagaya nung last video ko. Just check it out, guys. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Guys, subscribe na kayo and thank you for watching!